My name is Natalie Sifuma. I'm the head of content at Stories. I am still a communication student at Daystar University, and I'm 22 years old, and I've been working for 4.5 years. My background, I was born in London, but my parents moved to Nairobi when I was 2, so I was not really conscious of what was going on at the time. I've always lived in a comfortable family. I've always gotten what I want. I've been daddy's girl for the longest time. But when I joined campus, which is now when I was 18, my dad got sick. His kidneys failed. And it just put us as a family in a very awkward position, yeah? Because now we were looking to my mom for finances, me and my 2 younger brothers. But for me, I saw that she was really pushing limits with what she was able to give us. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to look for a job as a waitress and just get a little bit of money so that I can enjoy campus. You know how campus is. I can enjoy campus without asking for pocket money or feeling like, too dependent on her. So since when I finished high school, I'd gotten some intern experience at 2 companies. I was able to apply at different places, from Art Cafe to Java to all these places, and I ended up getting a job at Jumia. So I was at Jumia for a while, customer service, which was just introduction to work life and paying taxes, which was also new to me, and I was like, I respect adults. So I was at Jumia for close to 2.5 years, and then transitioned to Peperuka, a local company that makes amazing t-shirts. And then while at Peperuka, I was also interning at Homeboys Radio, because I was passionate about being in radio. And then finally ended up where I am today, which is at Stories. So I'm almost a year old, 11 months. My dreams 4 years ago and my dreams now are completely different. 4 years ago, I was ready to be the next Caroline Mutuko. I knew I'm gonna rock everyone's airwaves in the morning or in the evening, whenever. So I did go after it. I went to Kiss 100, went to Homeboys, and did actually end up with a radio show at What's Good Studios, which is an online radio show. I was there for about 6-7 months, had my own show, even got inspired to start my own podcast, which I did. And I was ready to, be on air, be the voice behind the mic. But along the way, there was a lot of rejection. I faced a lot of people who were like, no, you're not ready for this. This is not for you. And for me, I was very bitter about it, because I'm like, I know what I want and this is what I wanted. But I feel like for me, God placed me in a, let me not say a different sphere, but in a writing space. And when I thought back, I was like, in primary, I was always good at writing compositions and insha's. Like, that was the one thing that I would always pass above everything else. And I'd always been a fan of reading books. So when it came to now writing, I was a bit apprehensive at first, because I was like, I haven't written in a really long time. But my colleague at work gave me a platform to just try it out. And in that, I got to find a passion that I'd put aside for a really long time. And now I enjoy writing. Now I want to have my own book out within the next 5 years. I'm already doing short stories. I've engaged in a couple of competitions, writing competitions, and I just want to keep soaring as a writer. The most interesting writing project that I've experienced to date is one that I'm actually working on right now. It's for the 2019 Commonwealth Prize, which is targeted at writers from different continents, all continents, and the winner of each continent gets, of course, a cash prize, and you get access to international publishers, which is what I'm aiming at. So I've just finished my story. I'm in the editing phase of it, and I'm very hopeful that it will do well. It will be recognized by an international body. What excites me about my generation is that people are very passionate about what they want to do. People are very outgoing. People are very social. What frustrates me about my generation is that a lot of people have group mentality. It still exists. You know, I just want to hang out with the same 6 people every single day, every weekend. We go out together, we read books together. It's like, no, you're not going to be able to grow a network if you're sitting with the same people over and over and over again. And I also feel like for individuals who do that, it limits how much they learn of themselves, because you will never know something about yourself until you try it, you know. Could I give an example? This year, I mean, I've always heard of bird watching, yeah, and I was like, who would stand outside and watch birds? I mean, but this year someone challenged me. He was like, we're going for an outdoor hike to watch birds. He's an ornithologist, a person who studies birds. And I was like, no. And then after 2 days, I was like, let me try it out. And I went, and there's actually a group of people who get a high of looking at birds and like tagging them. But it was very interesting. And for me, I was like, this is actually something very therapeutic. I would not have known that. So about my generation, I feel like we really limit ourselves to clicks, if I could call them that. What frustrates me the most about my parents' generation is that there's no communication between parents and their kids. Parents just assume. I'll give the example of my mom. My mom would never want me to talk about boys. It was like, no, not in my house. Even if you just tell us, so there's this boy, no, you're there to study. So we've never had the sort of relationship where I can openly go up to her, especially about emotional crises. But if it's in relation to work and career, she's always been there for me. So I feel like the communication between parents and their children in this day and age is very filtered. And walls need to be broken. You need to understand your child in and out. Your child needs to be able to come up to you and be like, Mom, so there's this issue. Dad, there's this issue. Yes. What I appreciate about my parents' generation is that there's a lot to learn, especially in terms of how a lot of grown-ups around me, if I could say that, a lot of adults, a lot of parents around me, including my own parents, have established who they are as, professionals, and even grown their networks. I can go up to my mom or my dad and ask, do you know someone in engineering? Neither of them is in engineering, but they'll be like, yes, I know this person. So yeah, in terms of helping us, maneuver our way around starting out our careers, they've been very helpful. The biggest emotional crisis that people my age are going through is actually anxiety and depression, truthfully speaking, because a lot of people are comparing what their success looks like or what their current state of success looks like to somebody else's. But what I feel that we can learn from that is that we should look at other people as inspiration and not as competition. We all have different journeys. I'm 22 and I've been working for this long. Someone else is 22 and unemployed. Someone else is 22 and just started out. We should not look at, okay, Natalie is at the top of the hierarchy or Natalie is at the bottom of it. We should just all look at it as she's doing this and it's working out for her. I could sit down with her and talk to her and ask her, what have you done that could inspire me? And I feel like once we start, actually communicating with each other and uplifting each other, the whole anxiety to be perfect, to be, I call them world timelines. By 25, I want to have a million-paying job. No, everyone's journey is different, but what are you doing to get to your destination? My depression period was mostly last year, and it had a lot to do with the space that I was placing myself in. I was hanging out with a group of people who were, there was pressure to have money. There was pressure to be of a certain, social status. And for me, I was working. A lot of these people were still getting money from their parents, so it was okay. For me, it was sort of the other way around. I was the one who was sort of helping out my parents because my dad's still sick. And it put me in a really deep, dark hole because I was like, why? Am I good enough to hang with these people? Am I in the right office? Am I doing the right thing. But for me, it just took my mom actually sitting down with me and telling me, you're allowed to cry. You're allowed to have this moment where you feel like everything, as in your life is just going down, 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 down. But in that, why not? She actually advised, why not try and look for God in this darkness that you're in? And that's what I did. And I mean, just putting faith in something, you know, something that, or someone in this case, who, I mean, has worked, I've grown up in a church household, so it wasn't anything new to me. So it was like, okay, why not try and just put faith in God and, you know, just do all these little things, read the Bible more, pray a lot more. And things just started looking up slowly, you know. So I'd say I triumphed depression through God, which might sound cliche, but it's my reality. Depression looks like waking up in the morning and not having even an ounce of motivation to get out of bed. That's like a minor sign of depression. Depression also looks like going to work and actually feeling like I don't feel like doing this and I'm actually going to give everyone an attitude. It can go to the attitude phase of it. But there's different forms of depression for different people. Usually if it starts like that and it manifests into just continuous sadness, that's when now it's like, is it really worth being alive? Does anyone care about me? People disassociate themselves from even their family. So that's what happened. I removed myself from my family, and my mom noticed, because she's like, how is it that, you know, we are not speaking? You just come, you stay in the house, you go to work, you're not talking, I find you crying. She was actually finding me crying on some days, and when she asked what's wrong, I'm like, it's okay, it's nothing. So she was able to identify, I think, motherly instincts to some extent, and I'm the only girl, and I'm the firstborn, and she knows me like this. She says, even if you lie to me, I know you're lying. So she just really knew me, and I think, you know, as parents, if you're very keen and you know your children very well, you'll easily just tell that something is off. So once she was able to identify that there was something wrong with me, I think she went around her sisters, like, how do I talk to her about it? Because I can't approach her, you know, in any way. And when she finally did, it was such a, from an empathetic point of view, and she was just like, you know, just talk, cry, let's deal with this. I've been happy for like the past month. I've been so happy, like every day something just makes me laugh, like roll on the ground. But I'd say the time that I was happy was this past Wednesday. I was on somebody's birthday. She had a lunch thing, and I was with a group of people who were just like, come as you are. You know, especially since I was invited by the birthday girl and I only know her and her sister. But when I got there was so many different, she has like a variety of friends. She's not limited to one group. So when I went there, and there was this person who's talking about bicycles and this person who's talking about cake, like different conversations. And everyone is just, there was so much harmony, and like I think I really did laugh at one of the jokes that was said. Meet people, interact with people, grow your networks. I'm all about growing networks, I feel. I will not meet you at a coffee shop and we're sharing the same table and ignore you. I'll be like, hi, what do you do? Are you waiting for someone? You know? Yeah, so meet different people and grow.